Hey Morgana, 1 second guys, welcome to the stream, welcome to Morgana, welcome to any lurkers in here and all that. As I said, I did start later, I mean that's just normal, but I am live, you'll be live for about an hour, a little bit shorter of streaming, because of some things, but it's actually good stuff, not bad, hold on. No, I'm here, guys. So I do want to show one thing off before start, because you might have heard that, and I don't really know how much it picked up. But hold on, let me turn my webcam on. Hi, guys, 1 second. Gonna catch you, punk. Richard, come on. No, make it matter. Why? When I'm showing. When I'm showing for the followers. Come on, Richard. Richard! No, Richard, don't run away! Well, I just tried to get my cat and he ran away. But you almost got him. He did not want to love and see you guys. Welcome on. Richard, you're a friend. You know that? You could put him in the chair and he ran away back here. You know. Yeah, that was, if you guys couldn't see him running away, that was Richard. Some of you guys know from the Discord that I took a picture of him. He's been a cat for a long time. So, I never let him in here for a reason, so maybe he just doesn't want to be in here, or he just was that hungry, so he just skidded out of good doodled. But, welcome on in, everyone. As I said, shorter stream, later start, but we're vibing. Alright. So, we'll figure that out. 1 second. Crap! I've been muted! How long have I been muted, guys? How long have I been freaking muted for? Oh no. Welcome in, Zach. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Morgana, yeah, I don't know if I responded. Welcome in, chat. Welcome in. I was explaining, I don't know how much I actually got on camera, but, shorter stream, later start, right? I started at 4:30. I was going to start about 2 hours ago, but, I was working on stuff. Nothing bad. It's just been a really slow day for me, late start, and, playing some Jamboree. I was going to say, my dinner's going to be ready soon, so I might have my webcam off for part of it, but we're vibing. We're really good vibing, guys. Well, welcome in! Welcome in, folks. Welcome in. By the way, Zach. I got your DM. We can talk after stream about that. Assuming you're not streaming when I go off and stuff. But, yeah, I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I'm really excited. But no, I got your name about the other thing that you just did when I started. I'll reach out about that after. Cause that sounds really good. That. I think I could arrange something like that. But yeah, reviving today. And Chad, how are you guys doing today? As I said, I'm a little out of it, I'll be honest, but I'm really good. I'm really good at that. I guess while we're hanging out, yes, I'm really out of it right now. Not badly, just kind of in the mindset. So before the stream today, like the reason why I wasn't starting later, right? I didn't want to start later. That's really cool. Good, Zach. Because from what I heard with your story of that, that's really did suck. Like your debit card, like it's one thing doing your credit card, but your debit card, that just sucks. Because I have a credit card, I have a debit card. I'm not that big into credit cards personally. If I can, I rather use debit personally. But yeah, no, and that's stupid. People shouldn't be that stupid out there, but people take advantage of that, I guess. Like, we're not stupid. I'm just saying, like, the people that are stupid enough to take advantage of that, steal cards and stuff. It's just so ridiculous. But
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
test. I think we're back. I really hope we're back. We're really back. And my webcam, where's my webcam? Gosh dang it, my webcam's gone. There we go. There we go. We're back, folks. We're back. I don't know if the redemptions are working, but everything's back. Apparently, I was still in the game ever since then, though, which is hilarious. Apparently, I did not get kicked out of this. But yeah, I love streaming, guys. This is why we stream. This is why we stream, folks. But yeah, welcome in, Zach. I got your message as me every Sunday. That's funny. I had played the Bowser mode, I think, twice to answer your question, Zach. I haven't played it in a public room, I guess. Like online, like this, like how I stream it. I played it with like a couple of friend rooms in the past, and like when it came out. Well, more or less when I bought it, I mean. I guess to clarify, because I didn't buy the game until like a month ago. But unlike the Bowser mode, though, it's not really Mario Party in my opinion. It's more or less just a party game. If that makes any sense. But yeah. In terms of, I guess I'm trying to figure out where we were last before the stream died. But outside of that, Zach. If you guys are curious why I didn't stream until it should have. It really should. I agreed on that. I agree, Zach. In terms of why it started so late, for those curious, I was working on some game development stuff in the background. You guys know I work on CNR stuff, Dreams, all that with Casper and a lot of other people, right? But one of the things I wanted to work on was a little concept, a little prototype of sorts, right? For an RPG sort of idea that I had. This has been like in like the back burner for like the last year, and it doesn't really have priority compared to like the YouTube or the stream stuff, right? It's more like the project parallel, right? But I had an idea and I wanted to experiment. So I experimented that, and I started learning Game Maker Studio again, which is one of the engines, right? I used to have a better understanding of Studio, and I haven't touched it because I don't have any reason to. I'm used to Unity and other stuff, so I took the entire afternoon up to stream time until now, pretty much, to get back into it, mess around with the mode projects, and it's really addictive. Hell, it's really interesting. It's really cool. King Maker. Yeah, but it's like I wasn't really focusing on doing anything specific with it. I just kind of was messing around with stuff and getting back into it, and it was it's a nice little thing. Oh, goddamn truth I said. You got a reward. We got money. We got a little gold. We got the gold, folks. Ooh. But yeah, I think if there's anything I should bring up. Um, oh, it's getting up. Let me check that real quick for you guys. It is off there. Should that might be better, Zach.
Lap 2.
Is that better?
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, I have a toggle. I toggled off for some reason. Must have been happened when the stream crashed.
Time's up. Ready?
Ready. I have the old idea back. I am probably gonna trade it in for the Switch 2 whenever that comes out, because honestly, that's like I've been playing all the old games, you know, it's might as well. The biggest thing with the OLED is, yeah, yeah. Well, the OLED I really like because it's. I don't know if you heard anything or what your opinions on it is, but it seems really simple and it pretty much is just the Switch, right? It's not really anything itself different, but the OLED screen is really nice. It just isn't something you would really say you want out of the console. It's just there, you know? It's like, a lot of the reviews I see accurately say this, and it's pretty much, you can't really record the screen, but it is really nice when you're playing in handheld. Unfortunately for me, I don't really play in handheld that much, but I do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like the OLED screen and that. Maybe more stability, but yeah. But yeah, like it's cool because, and I got it for pretty much just out of like, I got a new Switch at that point, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's nice, but I'm definitely gonna likely get a Switch 2 when I can. If it's like, slightly even better because it's just future-proofing and play all the games. I'm really hoping that they do something where it improves the resolution or the frame rate. Like it doesn't. It's not good enough. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that story. Pretty much, I believe when I was in Florida last time, which was years ago, right? I accidentally dropped it in the water, which is really funny. Like I didn't even think, you don't think about it. It just kind of happened. Like I barely remember that stuff. It's like, I believe I got like an Animal Crossing one because of that after that, and then welcome in. That should be.
Time's up.
But yeah, this is my current one.
Here comes Bowser.
Here comes Bowser, folks. Here comes him. You've been hit with a 25 space penalty. What is this madness? Whoa. Well, I'm screwed. I'm personally screwed. Oh boy. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready? Start.
Yeah, Bowser is not giving mercy in this regard. Bowser.
Finish.
Bowser, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? What a badass.
Knocked out.
Yeah.
Ready? Start.
I know. Thank you, Fuka. Thank you.
I've come to make an announcement. Paramount has announced Sonic 4 with a March 19th, 2027 release date, according to Deadline, along with revealing a logo.
Thank you.
Time's up. Ready?
Change.
Start.
Do this. Let's do this. Woo!
Final lap. Time's up.
Welcome in, Fuka, if you haven't said it officially yet. Welcome in. Or vibing.
Ready?
Grab those coins.
Start. Finish line.
It was fine knowing that I started the stream. It crashed the stream and I was gonna play for like a couple minutes. So yeah, that was a pretty good game. That was a pretty good game for what it was. I guess they could do the Bowser mode, Zach was mentioning. Let's try that. I don't. Can you do random summons? You can do random summons. Alright, let's do randoms. I'm going to get my dinner, so as a heads up, I might come off for a bit. I'll still be talking, but just as a heads up. Welcome in.
Round one. Start.
I'm here again, guys.
Mini game.
Okay, here we go.
Start. Finish. You win. Break A.
Oh.
Yes! 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 Woohoo!
Round 2. Start.
Yeah, welcome in, Cash. I'm eating dinner, so I might be awkward, but I can't talk.
Finish.
You got me a really great time.
Mini game.
Alright, I'm back. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in, Castoon. I hope you're doing alright. It's afternoon. I started way later than one, but I'm here. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in.
Start.
Welcome. Come on, from you can. For those curious, unaware, why is a little later? It's because I was messing around with Game Maker Studio number 2. The second, not the first one. But I've been, I was in it, experimenting, relearning it. I've been in Game Maker Studio now. And boy, is it a engaging engine. I was a little addicted to Game Maker earlier, so, yeah. But that was why I was like 2 hours late, because I was in the middle of that. And that was fun. But yeah, welcome in, folks. As I said, it's gonna be a little bit shorter stream.
Finish.
Probably gonna be doing this in one other mode or something, but we're hanging out for a while, for a bit and stuff. Yeah.
Yes! Oh, yes!
Yo! That's the rank. Hope you guys are in chat are doing alright this evening, or afternoon, or whatever time it may be. It's technically afternoon, you know, 5. Alright, let's get show on the road.
Round 3. Start.
Oh no, fire! Be careful! Of course there's fire. I got killed! Where's all those bombs? We need the bombs! No!
Bonus time.
Scared. Bro literally blasted me. No, come on, Bowser. Don't be like that. Come on, don't be like that. Bowser's being an asshole about it. At least, jeez, dude, at least be civil. Yeah, we can be rude and civil here. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm hit. Aw, man.
Mini game.
Mini game. Mini game. Woohoo! Yeah, Toad, yeah.
Questa per Luigi.
Yoshi would kiss me.
Start. Round one.
That one, guys. Where are bingos?
Round two.
Ah, sure, how about
Final round. Finish.
Finish!
You win. Rank B.
I mean, B's not the worst. I mean, B's not the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Round four. Start.
Firing the cannon! I know he's pissed. I think he's pissed, folks. He's pissed off. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, stop that. Stop. Don't be pissed off. Don't be pissed off! Don't worry about he's pissed off.
Finish. Mini game.
mini game.
Che stava Luigi?
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Start.
Oh,
Crap.
Finish.
So close! We almost got an S! We almost got an S! Oh no! Oh
You win.
no!
Break
Close
A.
enough. Close enough, folks. Close enough. Close enough.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
It's hammer time. Birdo! Birdo, do something! Pick something! Birdo. Birdo gave up. Birdo gave up. Don't go there, Cash. Don't.
Final round.
No.
Start.
No. Oh no, he's shelling! Thirteen bombs! 13 bombs, guys! I gotta kill them. Come on. Let's go. Oh, not again! No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Finish.
Finish.
Congratulations.
Good job, everyone. Careful ahead of cheap. Online bonus. Woo! The mode isn't my favorite, but it's a pretty good mode. I'll have to agree on that. It's a pretty good mode. Alright. What the hell? My party side modes? Why did you go? Alright, I need to check something. Guys, I'm going to call it here. Don't know who's live or catch if you're streaming for Chance or anyone here, but I am going to raid someone that raided me yesterday. Called Weird Up. He's currently playing Marble Rivals, but he's a good guy. But I'm gonna call it. All good, Tash. All good. I heard you were out with Morgana and I great. But yeah, I'm gonna head off myself for the night. Zach, if you're streaming later, I'll tune in. I'll reach out later too. But we're gonna be raiding Beard of Pain. He's playing Marble Rival. We'll be back on Friday. I do have a dental appointment tomorrow, so I don't know how well I'm gonna be energetically. But I will be back Friday, where we're gonna play Personal Trainer Walking on the DS while we're out. We're gonna go on a little just chatting normal Friday stream, where we're gonna actually playing a game. And such. But yeah, as I said, just say hello to Gerda. Come in, you don't have to stay, just say hi from me, and yeah. I'll see you guys next time on Friday. We're playing Personal Trainer Walk. Until next time, catch us up. Bye! Genius.